Don't turn them on,
Oh,
they don't work.
yeah.
I think we're gonna start with Buckeye Hills, so that, I'm certain you have other things you'd like to do besides gracing us with your presence.
Like to do versus have to do, I think. is what
Yeah. Now, these are different, Jason, than what you sent me.
They should be connected the same.
Okay,
We've got copies, so I'm gonna hand them.
okay.
Yeah, it should be exactly what I said. What we've got here are some comparisons between your current polling locations, the potential use of schools in the county.
Thank you.
And then sort of a,
Two more from me.
then a comparison between them both. So you can see sort of which areas of the county would continue to be are uncovered by both of them, like the areas sort of underserved both directions. So the red one is kind of the one I point you to first. That's the existing polling locations. And we're trying to find a good balance,
Yeah, we're getting back feed from that man.
Yeah, let me see
From that down.
It was expressed that you didn't want anybody to go more than 30 minutes, is that right?
20 miles,
20
I was
miles?
hoping,
Well,
yeah.
20 miles is far.
Yeah,
So these are 5-mile rings around each location, and then the red areas are areas that are outside of 5 miles from like any location. So you
Our
can,
polling locations as they now exist.
exactly, that's the red one, yes.
Right, wow.
So, we thought 5 miles is pretty fair as a circle, because the roads are curvy, and you got different speeds on every road, so that would get you, I would think, within like 10 to 15 minute service area kind of for each polling location. So that's what's currently happening. And then we used address data to identify schools. So there might, I'm pretty sure all these are pretty accurate, but there might be one or two outliers. But these are the schools in the area, the identified schools, and kind of showing you what their service area would be. And obviously, a lot of these are pretty clustered, but it seems that you can catch a broader area with the same number of schools.
one thing, Jason, I will tell you, like the school at Dart,
Yeah.
Lawrence, it's not operable.
No,
Okay.
so we couldn't use it.
Okay.
Even though the school still owns it, there's vandalism.
Is it? Okay.
graffiti
Yeah,
and
just
everything.
We I'll admit that we did not verify
Yeah,
every one of these schools. These are just the ones that are identified as schools. And then the purple map just gives you an idea of what areas are outside of 5 miles in both situations. So the people or the areas where you're kind of not able to improve connection that way.
So even if it's out of school, it's,
Yeah.
still not.
Yeah.
so Maxburg currently, they vote at Salem?
Yes.
Yeah, they're in
Okay.
the Paw Paw Church.
Okay.
How many miles is that from them? I'm not sure exactly how many it is.
Maxburg
From
to Salem?
Maxburg.
As the crow
Um,
flies, it would be just under 6, it looks
Yeah.
like, or just around 6.
But I don't think it's even that, because it's straight up 821 from Salem to Maxburg. Okay.
I would call straight.
Yeah.
Straight in the.
It floods up there, so it's got to be a little.
You stay on the same road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the
And all of Wolf Creek and that area out in Wesley Township, they come into Vincent right now. So with them going to the schools, that's not much of a difference for them.
No. Because Warren School is right near Lighthouse
Yeah,
Baptist, so.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can see that they're right on top of each other.
Yeah.
Any questions for Jason? How did you guys do when you took the current voting locations? How did you decide, okay, this township's gonna go here, was that just looking at a map and? Do you guys remember?
Well, I think when Dennis and I came on board, most of these places already chosen. And then anytime we changed one, it was based on handicap accessibility.
Okay,
Yeah, that's what I would.
Yeah, or we got asked to leave.
Yeah,
At least
right.
one
Yeah,
or
so we
two
had to change.
instances.
yeah.
They put a gate up and made it difficult for people to walk.
Pretty good.
That's a hint.
Well, it used to be that the voting locations, a lot of them were within the townships.
Yeah,
And of course, we have central committees from townships.
Yeah.
So that was a
Yeah.
lot of it back then.
Well, yeah, when we started, we had many churches.
Oh, yeah.
And again, Charlie's exactly right. We called it sort of Sunday accessibility, where folks came and helped individuals. But when we actually looked at what the rules, the law required, the grades were totally wrong, or the access or the doors were wrong, or handicap parking, we were 100 yards into a parking lot as opposed to the blue ones lined right up against the,
Yeah.
the curb, because they didn't comply with any ADA requirement.
and with
The
the
churches
schools.
might have had handicaps, but they weren't really
Yeah.
legally.
Yeah, they weren't the ADA standards.
Yeah.
So we moved around, then some township trustees came in and redid some of their structures and so forth.
Mhm.
And,
Do you think that you would go completely with schools?
Well, we're in the process of working with the schools right now. We're going, the board's gonna be going out within the next month or so to visit all the schools and see what their accessibility and everything. They have come to, we've invited them in. They are welcoming us. They said we could work around it. To be honest, I'm a little concerned with bus schedules because the polls are open from 6:30 to 7:30 at night. And like I know Fort Fry, that bus is right, I don't know if they can change their bus schedules to let the kids off in the back. I don't know, that's something we've got to talk to the superintendents and the principals about.
Yeah.
But that's my only fear right now with some of these schools. Now Salem will be closed this coming fall. But unless there's something changed over there, Salem Liberty.
Yeah. Lower Salem.
But I'm not sure that it's handicapped
the
accessible.
lower
I
Salem
know their gym
Elementary.
is not, but that will be an empty building.
Yeah, but it's empty.
So arguably it's
We still
available.
have electricity and.
If it's
See, that's something
all
Stephanie,
facilities.
You'd have to
the
look at.
superintendents will let us know.
Cause I've heard it doesn't have good parking there.
Salem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I've only driven by it without really going up
Yeah.
the street to see
Yeah.
what parking
Yeah,
is
I've never
like.
been up to the building.
Do you think you might be kind of mixing and matching these a little
We
bit?
probably will be, we're gonna use a combination of high schools. Our goal is to use a combination of high schools and elementaries. So, and you've got all these on here, so.
Yeah, I mean,
Do you want us to give you a
that's-
list of these identified?
Yes, if you could, I think that might help
Because
us.
Little Hawking on here, it's not.
Little Hawken, that building's already been
Is it that-
Ordained.
torn down.
Yeah.
Anywhere elementary.
It might just be.
Yeah.
It might just be.
Oh, Little Warren's already been demolished?
Might be
Wow.
artifacts in our address record. Not that I don't have like a comprehensive list of what our schools are active, so.
Yeah, and then Devola.
Yeah.
And the bullet,
Because they
now,
won't be using,
is Putnam, are they using Putnam next year? Or are they closing
No.
Putnam?
it's closed.
So-
They're not tearing it down though.
Yeah,
but, there won't be school there.
Yeah.
So that'll fall into the same question of what services are available if you wanted to use it.
yeah, yeah.
If they can give us one lot for a day.
Right.
And ideally, we'd like to try this, since this is a smaller election, general election in November, to be ready for next year's gubernatorial, which should be a fairly busy one. So any other questions for Jason, or?
This was a lot of work.
So this is excellent, yeah.
Yeah, we'll take these
We'll
with
certainly
us.
help take a look at this.
We'll leave you these and give
Okay.
feed them
All right,
for any reason. I mean, we've got,
Yeah, if you can just
Yeah.
email me just a list of all the schools.
Yeah, we can do
that now.
yeah, and,
Virtually.
honestly, if you can tell us which one of those you know are no longer active.
I'll email it to you.
Records.
I'm assuming there's funds here or there.
If that's all,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Basically all, I think.
Frontiers are one.
Thank you both
Any
so
questions,
much.
let us know, please.
Yep, we will. We'll be in touch.
You've got my information.
I got your information. Jason's also one of our poll workers in Reno. So.
Yes.
Just continuing education.
All right, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you there.
Super. I'll do it. Public comment?
Yeah, I'd like to stand and thank the board for their generosity. The stipend check was, really, really a wonderful thing. I really appreciate it. I love working for the board. It's a good time. The other thing I'd like to address this morning is that we're coming up on the fall election here, and we've lost two of our most prominent people in the Republicans, which was Jack, and well, we'll be losing Jack because he's moving, and Jeff. And what we really need to do, we need to get somebody recruited so we can start getting them trained and, kind of familiarized a little bit with, because we still have, names.
We have Tom.
No, Tom Otler, yeah. No, always runs Marietta.
Oh, for Mike?
Mike,
Mike.
thank you, gosh, I'm so sorry, yeah, but Mike, we've always left him in charge down there, which means he's not available for delivery, so I just want to kind of add that, we need to kind of get that moving, because it's gonna be on quicker than we think.
Yeah, as far as I know, Dave White's gotta go ahead and work.
Yeah.
David
Wonderful.
White.
How about Dennis Bittinger? Someone said he was gonna quit.
I think he's very limited on what he can do. The last couple,
Last time he was having a heart procedure
Yeah.
before this May.
so I really
election.
think that we need to probably find
Charlie,
out.
we talked about it too.
Yeah, he never did answer my question about working, but I can go back and
Yeah.
talk to him again.
Yeah, David has already said that he would definitely help.
Well, David would be
so-
a good man. He's,
Yeah, and he's
involved
been a
and
poll worker, so he's a
Yeah.
little familiar, with the machines and everything.
Well, I look forward to it. I've already spoken to him too.
Okay,
He couldn't help us the last time. I think he had another.
yeah, he.
Yeah, they had a-
But we need to get him on
photography
board
job.
as soon as we
Yeah.
can, so
Yeah,
that would be good. The third thing is we're gonna be looking at my petition today, right, Mandy, for
Yes,
trustee?
I got it on
and,
top.
I'll address that issue when
Okay.
when it comes up, and I thank you for your time.
All right. Minutes,
I emailed him yesterday.
Couple things on the minutes.
Okay,
Third paragraph, it begins with Chairman Stipe asked for members of the public for comment. Last sentence, first it should end with a period.
oh,
And
yes,
also,
oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if we said that we would come up with a resolution or we would just review the matter.
I had notes that said we will investigate the matter and come up with a resolution, which we kind of have. Well, we're gonna present to you. So, yeah, I can just say investigate them, take that out if you,
Just say we'll investigate further.
Yeah, that's what I would.
okay,
Yeah.
that's fine, I can take that taken out.
yeah, just really stop there.
Okay.
We'll further investigate the matter.
Period. Then on the second page, so backside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th paragraph, right in the middle, begins with another absentee ballot was presented. That first sentence is, not real
That
fair.
should have voted on instead, okay.
I would say another absentee ballot was presented that should have, I'm sorry. Another absentee ballot was presented that should have been presented to the board on election night.
Should have.
Another absentee ballot was presented that should have been presented to the board on election night.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
That's it for me.
That's it. All right, I will give this to Emily and ask her to.
Okay, so can we have a motion to approve as corrected?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for taking care of that for us. I appreciate that. I think we're up to bills, and obviously we have the that one gigantic one.
Yeah, the one for our RBM, and that's for our annual hardware maintenance on the voting equipment that they do each year. And they'll be coming in to do that, probably, it'll be before the general election anyway. They haven't set a date yet, but I think in the next month or so, they'll be coming to do that.
So we pay that in advance?
Yeah, we pay it yearly, so.
And does that include parts as well as labor, for lack of a better way of putting it?
If they, I'm not completely sure if it includes, let me see if it says, I think I have that bill. Set it on there.
Because I'm also wondering, does that include not hidden, but a software license fee or something as well?
It does say the software and firmware license fees were paid up,
Bill.
were paid ahead on those.
So potentially we're going to be paying.
And we have an annual warranty that we're already paid to through August 31st, 2030.
All right, so
When we
that would
purchased the
include
equipment, that was
parts.
included, yeah.
Okay,
So,
so at least at this point, if they find something,
yeah, and that's on the Freedom Boats, the OVO scanners, and our mini high-speed scanner that we have. That's on all of those items.
any other questions on any of the various bills?
I will say the last one there, the pointers, that was for, we have a contract that covers up to so many copies on our copiers, both our black and white one and the color one. And this was for last year, we went over our number that we had the contract. So I am checking with them to see if we maybe want to raise our contract, let's include more copies.
What's that equivalent to in terms of overage, right offhand?
It was, I actually have a bill for it here somewhere too. It was, it was actually a lot more,
No, that's what I figured with it,
yeah,
$1,800.
right. Let's see, if she put it here something. We had our covered amount for the black and white copier was 45,000. And we went over by 6,371.
That's on the black.
That's on the black and white one, which I'm kind of surprised. But on the color one, we only had covered up to 10,000. So we had 31,000, so we were over by 21,000. So that's where the,
You have any idea why, where it was over? I mean, I don't remember seeing a bill on overage, the reason behind we have such a month.
I think it was just because it was 2020 and we had to copy so many more things.
I admit, I print everything, I'm
To the
still
public.
old school.
I am too.
I gotta hold it in my hand and look at it, so I print a
Yeah,
lot.
well, and we printed a lot of things that went out like to the poll workers and
Yeah.
stuff like
Okay,
that.
that's just
Yeah.
a question.
So I mean, this year, we shouldn't be probably making quite as many copies,
Right.
but, I wanted to see, you
So
know, what
they-
kind of price it was for
Right, do they tell us how much the overage is per page?
per page, yeah. So for the black and white, it was like almost 2 cents. And then for the color, it's 8.2, so 0.82. So it's just over 8 cents per,
So is this 1,800 also include the black and white copies then?
yeah, that's for both.
So it's
The
a,
overages on both of them.
Okay. It
so
just
that's
says
8
color,
cents, so the issue for us would be to find out if we bump that up,
Yeah.
what the, how much is it per page?
Yeah.
So we'll see, they haven't got back to me on that yet,
All
so
right,
for the next meeting, we should probably have that.
Yeah.
So if we want to change the contract.
okay, any other questions on bills?
I'll make a motion, we pay the bills as presented.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? I guess correspondence is up next, and that's the directive.
Yeah, and you have a copy there of the directive 2021-16. And this is for completing the NCOA process that was started in 2017. And so what we're gonna be doing for that is the Secretary of State wants us to send out, they call them registration readiness letters, I think, in here is what they call them. They called them before our last chance mailing, but will be any of the people that would be deleted because of this 2017 NCOA, they're gonna get another chance. If they haven't completed activity, you know, anything up until, actually, we have to finish things by today and resolve any registrations we have. So if they haven't done anything by today and close of business, then they're gonna receive a registration readiness letter from us saying if you don't vote or complete some type of voter activity, like signing a petition or turning in a voter registration form, till, I think it's December, they have till sometime in December. If they don't complete it by then they're gonna get deleted in January.
What population of people, another one, maybe that's a poor way of putting it. How many elections do we go back to where we find that
This-
population of people that need this letter?
Yeah, well, and it was 4 years, we started, if in 2017 was when we pulled the list. So if they hadn't voted or had activity for 4 years before 2017, then they received a letter in 2017. So then now, 4 years later,
And-
if they don't respond, then they get.
Okay, so it's basically for people, if we look at it, that you go back 4 years from 17 to 13.
Yeah,
So it's an 8-year period where they haven't darkened our doors, so to
Right.
speak.
or turned in a registration
No.
form or any,
Now, I'm just curious about one thing. When did we start recognizing that people who signed a petition qualified as some kind of voter activity? You know what I'm saying? When
Yeah.
we used to look at petitions and we'd go like 5 over the
right,
number,
if you needed
and we
25,
quit
they do maybe like 30.
30 or
Yeah,
so, and it turned out they handed in 50
Right.
or something.
That was more recent, maybe within the last 2 or 3 years, I think.
So potentially, we may have some of those folks that we just don't know about because we didn't look.
Right,
So this, but again, in 17, we sent them a note,
right,
and from 17 to here, they haven't,
right. had
so
no
they
activity.
missed a presidential, I mean,
Right,
you know, which was 70-some% of our
there would have actually
population.
been 2, or no, yeah, just 1 president.
So it hopefully it's a fairly small population of people.
Yeah, and we'll be pulling that list soon, so,
Now, I know when I look at petitions and check them, even if there's more signatures, I still look them up.
yeah, we have to.
We have to
Yeah,
now.
yeah, we
We
look
had
it
a
up.
policy before not
Yeah.
doing it, and we had to change that.
Yeah,
So, but again, what I'm just looking at is with the 70-some% turnout, et cetera,
Shouldn't have to.
it's gonna be a small population of
Yeah.
people, I figure. Some of them are perhaps people who passed away, some have moved, et cetera, et cetera.
Right, yeah. We'll move on.
And then, once we don't get any response, et cetera, then they're gone.
And they'll be-
And then again, if they were to pop back up and appear,
They can always
we'll get them
re-register.
either registered, or if they show on election day, it'll be a
Right, then they'll
provisional
stay.
type operation,
Yeah.
and they'll be back on the
Now, if
list.
they vote in this November, then they'll be fine. They wouldn't have
Right.
to vote provisional.
Right, exactly. Okay, all right. Good.
and is that something Triad will give us?
Yeah, yeah. Once when we get to the time when we pull our list, then they'll do that for us. Yeah, we'll send it to the state.
All right, well, we had the maps and so forth. Chargebacks,
There's a copy of that. It's a legal size,
Yeah, it's this one.
and it's front and back. But that was for this.
oops. So the total is the total that we're talking
The
about.
$11,006.67.
And again, currently with our practice, if you will, with the county, that money goes simply back into the county coffer.
Yeah, to the general fund.
Have we received this, or is this something we send out?
This is based on our bills that we've received, so we have to give it to the auditor's office. And then they'll take this money out of people's, their income, I guess, that they get from the county.
The accounts they have?
Yeah.
Is this-
So we're gonna get a total of 11,000?
Well, that'll go into the county general.
The county
County
will
general,
get
the
that.
county, oh, it doesn't go back,
No, not at our budget.
Okay, and does this look like something we have to approve and sign off on?
Yes,
I'm reading this one
And then I've got-
correctly.
like a 2-page copy here if you wanna sign that one. Instead of a double-sided, I guess it doesn't matter.
Well, whatever you want us to sign, we'll sign. I think we probably have to have a motion to approve the chargebacks.
I'll make a motion that we approve the May 4th, 2021 primary special elections chargebacks of $11,006.67.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. We're up to a petition for November 2nd.
No.
Time flies, it's fall already.
I know. The deadline's August 4th, for people to turn in, so it's, our first one here is Jed's. And, what it was with his is he did not run in.
The number?
Yeah, he didn't run in the number of signatures.
In other words, he didn't count them.
Yeah, so that's what we were.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis.
Okay, in my defense, I have a receipt that has the number on it, but it isn't on the petition, so
Yeah,
Right.
that's
I would
what
ask you
that
to.
we.
Is this one of
It
those
was okay.
excusable,
Well,
substantial compliance? or-
that's what I'm looking at. I mean, that's, what would have happened if I put, 14 on one instead of 15? You've made a
it's just
mistake.
revised code.
Right.
Here is there.
I want to add that I got dog bit.
Oh, no, while you were getting your signatures?
Yeah, it was just a little ankle biter, but it got me,
Yeah.
and the finger, so.
Oh, you got the finger?
Yeah, I wouldn't vote for you.
Well,
Did you get the signature from the place where you got bit by the dog?
Yeah,
Well, that's.
actually, the dog bit me, and I think he felt sorry for me.
So they signed it.
Boy, I come out of that door, wham, nailed me right in the, it didn't bring blood or anything, but it was pretty cute, because I'm shaking, you trying to get him off my
Try and
leg.
get him,
He
yeah,
wasn't one of those dogs that he never bites.
right.
I
yeah,
mean, those guys,
those are the ones that,
Is that covered by homeowners insurance?
I would it be? If you
Yeah.
got a dog that bites, I mean, that's a criminal.
It's
There's
a
one
one
in court
bite,
this
it's a
week.
one bite state.
One by state, what does
What does
that
that mean?
Rule, it doesn't really say much more than our hands.
mean? Let me see if, I'm not sure.
I'll take my dog's teeth out.
I think there's one in court that's going for a jury trial either this week or next week over a dog bite. The sign said, don't enter, there's a dog, and they entered and they got bit, so it'll be interesting to see how it.
I could agree.
It's the
Yeah.
Canada requirement going.
Yeah, oh, I get that, but there are a number of these that the courts have said that if there's substantial compliance.
Right, which I know we can do this one section here,
Right.
with substantial compliance.
Well, I think one time we had the date of the election was wrong. You can have,
Oh, we've had
yeah,
the dates wrong, the name of them wrong.
I guess this kind of just says the same thing, the number 9.
Okay. Is this something that should have our legal advisor?
I mean, we could, we didn't get a chance to get one of them.
Or when do we have to?
Do we have until July?
You have actually until like August, something would be the deadline to certify, so if you want to.
Because he presented it on this thing, right, to us.
Right, because we always get them on the house.
Why don't we have?
But he doesn't
We just
sign
have to
this.
cross the
Right.
Allison Pine is a substantial compliance case. So we can put it on the record.
You know,
We
because
can wait till the July meeting. and-
Because substantial compliance, like with legible signatures, things like that, that are mandatory,
Right.
we don't. You know, as long as we can kind of figure out the signature. I don't have a lot, I'm just smiling at you.
I got it,
because
well,
I didn't realize that I had the wrong alarm I was listening to rattling around.
We still, la la land.
All right, well, we're gonna put that one off. You have another one,
Yeah, we've got more,
we'll get a legal opinion.
that's wise.
Well, because it is,
They covered the
there is
And
a,
I will live whatever the
there
board
is a
says.
certification that
Yes, it is,
goes with it about
yes.
what you saw.
Put that back with
yeah.
you.
Well, I appreciate you referring it back to the legal department.
Alright.
Now, is that gonna legal here or the Secretary of State?
We'll probably ask Allison first, to see what she.
Okay.
Right,
And then the rest of these, everything was okay, we didn't question anything on how they filled them out, and they had
the
enough
correct
signatures.
numbers,
Yeah,
so they're good to
and
go.
these are all for townships,
Right,
those ones, and then we got one for, Board of Education for Warren.
How many petitions do we have total?
I'm not sure how many of
you
them.
said this was good to go.
Yeah, this was,
4 here.
okay, then there's one here, so 5.
Right. Probably do them as a bundle, because when it moves at the end, Charlie could.
You said those are township
Those
Yeah.
are township,
And then the ones for
and that's a
education.
board of election, or
education.
board of education.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the petitions for Tyler Riggs, Township Trustee, Grandview Township, Timothy Rossiter, Township Trustee, Waterford Township, James Randall Harper, Township Trustee, Waterford Township. Asa Boring, Township Trustee, Belpre Township.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
I'll make a motion to accept the petition presented by Robert Crum, member of the Board of Education, Warren Local School District.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Alright, so that was all of our petitions for so far.
All right.
So we had only one BOE, right?
Yeah, just one for education.
Okay.
Is that copy the one email, is it still out on the copier?
Which emails that one, right?
Or the one from Allison and Nicole?
Oh, yeah, they're out on the copier, I'm sorry.
Great.
Pass that to the one,
Mhm.
and we'll just keep passing them.
Okay, Mandy and I spoke with, asked Nicole and Allison at your guys' direction last month to find out whether or not poll workers, had to abide by the federal minimum wage laws or the state minimum wage laws. Currently, the base pay for our poll workers are at the federal minimum wage laws.
Which is $7.25.
$7.25, at 101.50, which is their base. If we use Ohio minimum wage law, that is $8.80 now,
Yeah, the Ohio one is.
and that'll put the base pay to about $123 or $24.
And which one are we required to use?
Well, that's where this, if you can see the LexisNexis report that Nicole sent us yesterday. In a nutshell, from what I understand about it, it looks as if
Oh, okay, I got it.
that we could use either. It's up to the board.
Well, and originally what we were asking to was, Jack Hansis was here at our last meeting, and he was wondering about his pay as a delivery driver, not just as a poll worker, which is separate.
So
So you can see
we
it.
did confirm, just to make note, we did confirm that yes, the stipend put them over the minimum wage.
$8.80 per hour.
So Nicole and both Allison said that with the stipend, we were good there. For the delivery workers, I guess there's a different, delivery workers can be charged differently than what poll workers are. Now, the Ohio Secretary of State's manual says that we can't go above 133. 130 something.
It was for, this is for poll workers, not for delivery.
Yeah, this is poll workers again.
Every precinct election official in a county must be paid the same hourly rate, which cannot be less than the minimum hourly rate of $7.25 per hour established by the Fair Labor Standards Act, and not more than $133.72 per day. That's in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 350128D is in David. The Secretary of State establishes the rule that the maximum amount of per diem compensation that may be paid to precinct elections officials under that revised code each time the FLSA is amended to increase the minimum hourly rate. Upon learning of an increase, the Ohio Secretary of State must determine by what percentage the minimum hourly rate has increased and establish a new maximum amount.
So what was the max again?
The max you can pay a poll worker per day
Mhm.
is $133.72.
Okay.
That's for their hourly rate.
And the minimum was 7,
It's $7.25 per hour, which comes out, to if you do 14 hours a day,
yeah,
is $101.50.
That's the 150.
Which is what our current base pay, what we pay.
Right.
And then we add on to that, if you complete training, if you're a voting location manager. you have to get
manager or
mileage.
or a driver or
Right,
a
or a leader,
rider,
then you get other.
you get a little,
Now, I will tell you, in comparison to other counties our size and smaller, most all of them are the 101.50, $101.50. So that's still abiding by the 725 federal law.
And we're, according to the 2007 opinion, we're not required to pay the state minimum
Okay,
wage.
that's what I got out of that as well.
yeah.
They're not, from my reading, they're not
They're not
considered
employees.
employees.
No, yeah,
Therefore,
yeah,
they're volunteers.
That's correct.
yeah.
Did anybody complain?
About poll working? No,
Workers, did they complain?
no,
Not for the poll
no,
worker
not
pay.
for poll worker pay.
We just had a question of, for delivery crew pay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that, that's kind of up to the board of what you want to pay.
what I'd like to do
for that,
is
really.
figure out what it would cost the county if we do increase. I mean, I will, I think you all know, I am in favor of increasing it. I don't think we've increased it for several years. But I'd like to work up a budget for you guys to show you maybe at the next meeting. You can look at it. So if you want to take this down.
Well, I'm like you, I think we ought to bring the gentleman who do the delivery up to the minimum pay that we pay the other people.
Yes.
I mean, they've been with us for years,
Mm-hmm.
and I hate to say it this way, I don't mean it in a bad way, but they physically work.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
And we're getting paid less
Mhm.
than the people working here in the office in the air conditioning and,
Yeah.
so.
And that would be what, $9 an hour?
Yeah, that is what we've been paying, so.
What's that?
For the office.
Temporary
we get $9 an hour.
Part-time employees, we
So,
pay them $9.
But the delivery guys are $8.50.
Plus the
Right.
stipend.
Right,
Plus the
plus the stipend.
What's the second?
Right, which the office people do not get the stipend,
Right,
or have not previously.
right. Well, again, I think part of that was that we, wanted to keep people too. Their training was somewhat extra, if you will, because they were helping with LNA and
Mhm.
doing a lot of other
Yeah,
things
they had
back
to.
in the day. And they were, taking machines apart, putting them back together. On election day, if necessary, they could travel somewhere and make a repair.
Right.
That,
They're very valuable to us. I mean,
Yeah,
we call
that's for
them,
sure.
so,
they can,
yeah, keep your hands over your ears, Jeff.
yeah.
Don't want this to
You
go
know,
in your head.
All I can tell you is the boards always seem to be generous, these stipends, I've been here a while, and I'm telling you, they cover a multitude of things that you just don't, you don't.
Well, again, we've always appreciated. 'Cause
Yes,
When
and-
push came to shove, you'd come in and stuff envelopes and do all sorts of things.
I want to point out too, that if you don't want to work for the board, just don't work. I mean, it isn't necessarily a volunteer thing, but I've always felt it to be a volunteer thing. The minute I don't want to work, I won't work.
Well, that's what Jeff felt about it. He said,
And that's my
you don't go there for the money, you go there because of what you're doing.
The duty.
Yeah.
I think the stipend recognizes that there are additional duties beyond what the office, I'll just say office folks
Exactly,
do.
yes.
So at this point, we're at least comfortable and/or we'll think about it, or do we want to take action today? What do we want to do?
I would suggest go ahead if you're comfortable in increasing the delivery workers' hourly rate to $9, we could do that today. And I can go back and work up a budget to see what, if we increase the poll worker pay, you guys can, table that one and.
Yeah,
We can at
table
least
it.
look, we don't have
What
to
is,
make.
what is it with, for the delivery workers, what is it with the stipend? When we factor that in, what does it come to?
Okay.
I was trying to think of how many average hours they might work while they're.
So we're gonna include, are we gonna, is this going to be for their, if they came in and stuffed envelopes?
Right, it would be anything that they would come in and do, then get the,
Okay,
if we changed it to 9, they would get 9.
as opposed to the 850.
Right,
Mhm.
no matter what it is there, if they're doing L&A, if they're stuffing envelopes, whatever, they. We would just change it for everything.
When you're delivering, how many hours?
Well, let me ask this last
And you guys
election,
typically
or
work on that day?
maybe the last, or presidential was probably.
10,
the
10 or
biggest
12?
one we did. Do you have any idea what we ended up paying one of them?
See, that brings up the overtime.
Divide that by the 850, we know how many hours, so we'd have that
I'd have to
somewhere.
go back, yeah, and look to see.
So wouldn't that be worthwhile to do it the next one if we
Yeah,
had all
because that's
those
the,
numbers?
sort of the extreme.
Because that's the extreme, that would be the high water mark.
Yeah.
If they work 10 hours at 850, they get $85.
Oh, no, I can do
400.
that, but I want to know what we actually paid them for their presidential.
Oh, okay.
And if we either figure out we either have the number for the hours or we get the total amount of money and you divide it by 850 and we'll find that and then we'll know what mine is.
Do some.
So we have some budgetary, because the other thing we're rolling up to is our next budget to present to the county commissioner. That's going to be coming along shortly. And this is going to be, of course, for a gubernatorial primary, et cetera, which tends to be a
The next biggest.
bigger and a one that potentially will have more poll workers. So that's
Right.
another thing to keep in mind is
Yeah.
this last election, we shrank our numbers down. So we're probably gonna be looking at gubernatorial elections in the past. Are we gonna be able to go with 2, or are we going to have to in some of these places enlarge? And then if we're doing schools or whatnot, we're gonna have to think about what does that mean
Mhm.
as far as how many human beings we can stuff in a school versus,
Where we currently are.
somewhere else
Mhm.
and whatnot. So I would think if you can get numbers together, I would be more comfortable working on that next time.
We can do that.
If that's okay with the rest of the board.
Yeah, I'm not ready.
When do you present the budget to the commissioners?
We'll actually probably have that at our next meeting, what we want to present.
Okay.
Which will give us
When you
an
actually-
indication of.
Yeah.
Is the county
budgets.
on federal or state year? Is July 1 a new year for the county?
I think it's a new
Calendar
calendar.
year.
Fiscal year.
January calendar.
Fiscal year, yes, thank you, I couldn't,
No, I'm sure.
It's a calendar year.
it's calendar year?
Yeah,
Okay,
because we never get resolved until fall.
okay.
And then we have on there for the district meeting, it's July 23rd. I didn't know if any of you wanted to attend it. You only receive 1 credit hour.
How long is it?
Training. I believe it started,
It starts at 10, and I think we're done at 2:30.
yeah, I think that's what the agenda.
So,
And
4 hours.
so you leave at 9 or 8?
yeah,
Yeah, it's up at Hawkins, County.
I'm not here if they're looking.
Hello.
And it was
meant the
$15 per
board
person
And
to
I
go.
don't.
okay.
All right,
I'll probably look at this continuing education for my numbers. and see.
Okay.
Yeah, because it has where you can get all 8 that you need.
did we get our 8 hours while we was at our meeting?
Yeah, and so you
So
guys.
we got our hours in
You got your.
and take a day out of work to go down for 1 hour, it's not hardly worth it.
No,
So,
it's kind of like that trip to up north where they,
Akron.
yeah, that
Yeah.
Akron place where you don't want to stay at the,
hotel.
Although we
Sorry.
took 20 minutes off of yours since you left 20 minutes early on Wednesday last week.
That was not part of the hours.
Okay. Since I'm-
By the way, you guys look good in those photos.
Oh.
Appreciate you.
We had a good time. It was a good
Know all
bonding
about
trip.
it. Yeah, it's a good looking. Okay. So we also have our little comp time list.
Mhm.
Yeah. What all part? You know, wrap up on it.
So hopefully we'll work hard at whittling these down.
Yep,
And they
so
are.
I've been trying to take some time off.
Right.
Emily just got off vacation, so she used some time.
Okay.
There.
Again, if we can get more of it, that would be handy, because
We may have
these
to ask them
numbers
to
are pretty
take
high.
a Monday or a Friday.
We need to send Melissa on vacation.
I need to do the same thing.
I know. I'm the only one.
Maybe it's
So-
Melissa.
I'm the only
Yeah,
one.
I need
I
Well,
have to go on vacation.
mhm.
My comp time's better, but better than it was, but my vacation's still pretty bad, so.
Yeah, well, again. we
And the
work
county
those
doesn't have
things
a
out.
use it or lose it policy,
Yeah, that county does.
but the board,
We have,
we don't.
Yeah, we
have a
sort of-
policy to
yeah.
carry over.
But part of that deal was that we would work very hard at
Yeah,
knocking those numbers down. Now, I know we've got an election coming or this, that,
mhm.
but during these times where we're low, we really need to be sort of proactive about that. Because I was just happened to be talking to one of the clerks in municipal court. I had a jury trial yesterday that went till 7.
Wow.
And so we had a clerk that had to stay over, plus I had 2 bailiffs that had to stay and so forth. And so I was asking them about their comp time. They're somewhat rigorous about trying to use it when they get it, but of course, they're not getting the hours
Yeah,
that you guys are, you know. The person had to stay over 2 hours or 2.5 hours for my 7 o'clock jury trial.
yeah.
Fortunately, it was a 15-minute verdict.
Oh, that's good.
And I said it was gonna be between 10 and 20 minutes, so I went for a walk back and forth in the hallway of the court for 10 minutes, and then went into the courtroom and waited for them to knock on the door. That took 5 minutes, and we were out of there. All right, future discussions, I guess that's still,
Yeah, we're still working on
we're
that.
gonna
I am still, yes.
organizing that, and whatnot, okay.
Now I don't know if you need to vote for us to be closed, the office to be closed for us to go to the hockey, regional meeting.
Yeah, because that's something the staff goes to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're in good shape for the shape we're in for that time period, yes?
Yes.
So I guess we need a motion because we are closing and we're gonna close, so that we
Right, we'll be
won't
completely,
be staffing it with seasonal folks.
unless you would want us to try to get someone to,
Well, I'm just saying July, I can't think of
Not much
anything.
activity.
I mean, the only thing would be petitions.
Well, that's what I was
One
saying,
day.
isn't August 4th
Yeah, is the deadline.
is that just a week before the deadline?
Well,
Should
2
we have
weeks.
somebody in here?
It's more like 10 days.
Okay.
But it's a one day, if
If it was
you
multiple
let people
days,
know,
then.
and post it on Facebook,
Yeah.
and post
Yeah,
a
we'll put it on
sign
there, we'll put it
well in
on.
advance,
Yeah,
on July,
okay.
Right.
people can plan.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah, I think that'll work just fine.
So I'll make a motion that the office be closed on July 23rd in order for the staff to attend the district meeting.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. How does July 14th look on everyone's calendar? I'll do a much better job of setting the alarm.
Say July 14th?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
That's fine with me.
mm-hmm.
good with me.
I got it.
All right, we got a winner.
I handed these out. This is somebody that I spoke to, one of the vendors at our conference last week on this kids voting. And Mandy says we have had them, I guess, here before.
well, Melissa thought they'd been here.
Yeah, so I'm in contact with Michael Collins, who's the executive director, And I thought on our trips to the schools, we could see if they may be interested in this and then find out.
Yeah, because I had some extras of those too, if you need them to hand out.
Also, I understand Secretary LaRose was in Marietta yesterday. I just read it in the paper. We didn't know anything about it. He was- But he was at Marietta College yesterday speaking to their School of Business. So.
He'll be back in a couple weeks, I'll see if
Oh,
you
okay.
want him to stop.
Well, he says he's going, I know he said was going to try to stop it every BOE. So that's up to
Well,
him.
he'd been here before.
And he has been
Yeah, he
here
has been
before,
here
so.
before, so.
Um,
But if he wanted to stop by, that'd be okay.
I have gotten the schedules from some of the superintendents. So I'm going to email those out to you guys and find out what would work best. I think if we could do at least maybe 2 schools a day, like, in the morning, whoever can come, But Warren said they would not be ready until August
Yeah, I
for us to
believe
come and visit.
They're still working.
Yeah, they're still working, so, like the week of July 9th, I think, is what Fort Fry wanted. I haven't heard back from Frontier. Marietta said, just call us, let us know that you wanna go, so I will send that out to you guys and then just let me know. I don't know that we need all 4 of you, but we'd like at least, a bipartisan team to go out and.
Yeah, and we'd like you to, again, with those maps and so forth, just taking a look at least I would. Fort Fry and Waterford are so close together.
Mhm.
It seems to me potentially we gotta pick one.
Just use one.
Yeah,
And I think we need to pick one which has less confusion with the best routes and things like that. I
see,
mean,
that's the thing that I just trying to think about this, and Waterford may be a little better because they've got more room on that other
I was
side.
thinking of Waterford, what is it, elementary or junior high or whatever,
The
not the high
Miller
school.
building
Yeah,
on
yeah,
339,
yeah.
yeah.
That's the one I was kind of wondering.
yeah.
And then I was thinking, this will make Lowell people have, use Lowell, and then we can bring Salem into Lowell. And they're still not, driving that far.
Yeah. Well, again, the issue would be with them, are they gonna be open? Would they
Yeah.
be closed for the day?
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
the
'cause
legislature get on
parking
there.
there.
And then parking is the other issue, how many
teachers may,
different
but
people
I
there?
think they've had, you voted there, did we vote there years ago?
No,
At
I
Lowell?
don't think
Never
we
voted at
ever did
Lowell?
at the school.
Okay.
Not that I remember anyway.
No, we voted,
We voted at the fire department.
yeah, and we voted at some building further down or something that had steps that came right out to the road or something.
Yeah,
It's
there you go.
horrendous.
It's a library, didn't
The library is in Lowell.
Up there.
Is in the school for there, but
All right, well, anyway,
Fire
that
department
we'll
was not
look at, because that.
it is
that
now,
might
I
be a
think they made
divide.
some, yeah.
At Waterford, yes.
It might
You'll
be a
send
good
us when
divide.
the schools are open.
Yeah, I'll send you the
Visit.
schedule, when you guys look at your
Waterford,
schedules and let
that's
me
what
know.
we went.
Right.
And,
Yeah,
all
'cause
right,
for Lower Salem, we wouldn't want them going all the way to
yeah, it's a bit of a haul.
Waterford, yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
and,
that'd be
and
nice.
our only other headache, well, not the only one, but Matamoros is,
And if we use Frontier,
Yeah.
that's really not that far for them.
right.
Would it make sense to have Newport and
It's just,
New
again,
Matamoros come to
So many of
Frontier?
these places are on the
I think
river,
so.
so it's like, man, if they
They have
could
to go
just
somewhere.
be 10 miles in with them, would shorten everything.
And I do know, like, for people who live in New Matamoros, there are some who walk to the polling place, might be our only problem.
Well, unfortunately, or fortunately, we have early voting.
By mail or do early voting, yeah.
And again, anytime we move anything, we always will hear about
That's
folks
Right,
who
we'll always
walk.
have some.
Can't make everyone happy.
Yeah, we know that, yeah.
Yeah, we heard that from the low people.
Right,
Yes, we
Yeah.
did. Twice.
Probably.
The school or Salem, if we get that, because really the Papa's cramped.
Yeah.
We're okay at
Yeah.
Paw Paw, but it's a very cramped place to be. And so if the school would offer us an opportunity, probably I'll jump on that.
Well, you're right, Lower Pawpaw Church is
It's the
just.
same thing.
And I'm thinking, I don't
That's
know,
the
The
worst.
same thing in Mad Morse, you know, they got,
Yeah,
it's a
it is.
very confined place in the
It is.
library there.
Like-
And that's what, yeah, we
Right there with it,
tried to
with the
do that.
gym, I
And a
think
parking
I'll jump on
issue.
that.
Mhm.
So the high school,
The high school would be.
Oh, yeah, that new Mount
Really
Morris
nice.
is, yeah, that's,
it's a flat
And it's a
location
nice
there.
building, but
It
it's
sure
small.
is.
Oh, yes, it's too
Yeah.
small, and we interrupt the reading program.
Right, and we do interrupt the reading program. So,
Any motion to adjourn?
anybody want to report on last week or? There was, I guess,
I thought we said what's happened.
oh, that's right.
that's the state's a conference.
Just, Aaron spoke a good bit about, which bill is it? House Bill 214,
The 294,
294, I think. That's
Andrew's
the
voting us
bill.
296. But
And the association did bipartisanly, I guess, that the trustees, I guess, are the ones that make recommendations for the association. And they agreed, there were some things in the bill that they were going to lobby, and they did suggest that we all talk to our legislatures over the summer. They didn't think that 294 would come back up until September, when they come back. But, you know, they're still passing a budget, so who knows when they're gonna have that done by June 30th. So, who knows? But overall, it was a very good conference.
I thought
It
so.
was good to be among people again. I got some tabletop exercises for us to do if we have time sometime. But I thought it was a very good conference and good to be around people, and we had a good time too.
Yeah.
You were missed, Dennis.
Well, that's okay.
People, all of RBM wanted to know where Dennis was, so.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jose from Triad, we've scheduled with him. He's going to come in and do a 2-day training with us as well. That, because our database system, we know there's a lot of things that we're not using it for, that we could be. So, that, I think we've already scheduled that.
Yeah,
sometime in
June
July.
27th and 28th.
Yeah,
That's
Or not June, July.
July, I remember doing that.
so if you're interested, you wanna come in and see any of that, you're fine. I think we might see if we can get some temporary work in here, I don't know, I haven't talked to Mandy about it, but whether or not, he suggested closing down the office or getting seasonal workers so we don't have to deal with phones.
Well, I think that's a good idea because you
Yeah.
all need to be there.
Yeah.
Concentrate on,
Well, he's doing it and.
And then Todd is also in the process of getting something to us to training on,
do some more training on our new voting equipment.
on new voting equipment as well.
So Jose's with.
Triad, which does our voter registration system, and we have several other software.
He's coming
Packages
the
with them.
27th and the 28th.
Yeah,
It's
that's
kind of all
July.
day.
Yep, a full day, both days.
See if I can come.
Anything else?
Because they've done kind of some updates and things to the software that we haven't really got to be trained on.
Right. So it sounds like a very good idea. I mean, there's nothing wrong with continuing to get training
Yeah.
at all.
I was pleased to see the vendors there. I was hoping there would be more, because you know, we're looking for those stand-up voting.
Yeah, did you see anything?
We had nothing
There
like
was
that
zero.
there. It was more the database and voting equipment stuff. It wasn't necessarily that other stuff. Dominion was there, but they had no hand tools, so.
They were kind of in the corner.
They were in the corner, they didn't even have a sign on there.
No.
So I looked for them.
Yeah, I know. They didn't know what I was
They were
saying.
hiding.
They were kind of hiding.
Yeah, they were hiding,
Yeah.
so.
God bless.
All right, did we have an adjournment, did we have a motion?
I'll move to adjourn.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Don't forget.
Thank you all. May everybody sign the minutes?
Yes.
Have you signed some bills?
Yeah.
Did we sign minutes?
We did.
Yes.
Okay.
They're down here.
Sign a couple things.
All right.
Sign it,
I've
sign
got
it,
stuff
George.
to sign.
Keep Here, we have a copy of that
Okay.
too, so you keep it, so you don't lose
Get the
it.
minutes down here.
Which is kind of piling things right.
They came this way.
No.
I'll teach you how to set that alarm if you need.
I played golf at Baywood Greens in Rehoboth. It's really outside of Rehoboth Beach. And my son played at a number of golf
Bye,
courses
Kadeen.
in Los Angeles.
You too.
And in Lake Tahoe.
Here's the
Said it
birthday
was the
sign.
most spectacular golf course he's ever
That's
done.
nice.
Really? Sign that.
It was beyond gorgeous.
Oh, we need to stop.
I mean, these people who designed this thing, the first part was what they call the woodland area and so
Where
forth.
did we go to on here?
These, I mean, even the fairways were immaculate, but the greens had no bars on, nothing. They were just gorgeous. And of course, you're treated like royalty. You show up, you know, they got your bag, they take you to the driving range, they're free balls. You hit, then the ranger comes by when it's your time, et cetera, escorts you to the first hole, gives you all the rules about which ones you can drive on to, which ones you can't, et cetera, what they would like. The rangers come by, they have the food service people coming by. And I mean, then when you get to the second site,
I got
it's
it.
called the